Hello, everybody. This is Apba Brian and Apba Baseball Classics, along here with Dan Mattingly for Week 3 of the NFL Picks Infirmery Sunday. Last week was a Recovery Sunday. This week is Infirmary Sunday, and there are several injuries on the NFL front. 4 quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor for Houston was probably the most significant, but Andy Dalton went out for Chicago. Carson Wentz out for Indiana, and Tua for Miami went out. Plus, there were several other players that were injured. 3 running backs for the for the 49ers were injured. Sermon, Mitchell, and Hasty is the other guy.
Hastings, yeah.
Left the game. And Landry left the game, and OBJ didn't play again. So Cook had a great day, but he left the game. And Chubb of Denver left the game. So I'm calling this Infirmary Sunday. Who will be back? We'll take the games in order, starting with the Sunday noon games. And let's start with the Carolina Panthers at the Houston Texans.
So I really liked everything I saw from both of these teams in week 2. I think that Taylor being out will be the deciding factor for the Texans losing. Carolina's offense looked much better this past week. And I think as long as they have Darnold playing under control and McCaffrey doing McCaffrey things, I believe the Panthers should roll in this one.
I'm also picking the Carolina Panthers. Their defense has been surprisingly good. They really pressured Jameis Winston last week. Brian Burris, and then it was the defensive end, Brian Burns. And then the linebacker, I think they've got 7 sacks between them.
Yeah.
So, and then
very impressive.
Their secondary is not allowing a very high completion percentage either. So I think Carolina in an easy one. All right, now we're going to be joined by Justin Neely. He is my youngest son. And Justin is joining us this year. He's for NFL Picks. This is something we do yearly. And Justin is not together with us when I do Dan because he works nights. He's a supervisor at his place where he works, and he is not awake when we do the show with Dan Mattingly, Justin's brother-in-law, my son-in-law. So that's why we do him in 2 separate times. You ready to go, Justin?
Yep. Tyrod Taylor is injured,
Yep.
I believe. And the Houston pass defense, they're not looking too good lately. Last week, they gave up over 10 yards per attempt to the Browns. And Carolina's not a team to be slacking on the pass defense. First of all, they've got a great distraction in McCaffrey, who can also catch the ball pretty well. And DJ Moore, he is really clicking with Darnold lately. I'm going to take Carolina in this game.
Indianapolis Indianapolis at Tennessee.
This being at Tennessee and with Wentz going down, I love the Titans in this game. I think they should win big, even though the Colts have a fantastic defense. Tennessee just has a lot of firepower. I look for them to unlock their wide receivers this week with A.J. Brown, and their pickup in the offseason should make the difference. And with Derrick Henry rolling like he did last week, they'll be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, Tennessee had a very good offensive day, 180 yards for Derrick Henry. So apparently they didn't get the memo from Arizona how to stop Derrick Henry. And then Tannehill threw for about 340 yards too. He had a big day. So I look for Tennessee to win this one easily.
Okay, Indianapolis did pretty good last week. But Tennessee came out with a statement win against Seattle. And it seems like Derrick Henry is back. I don't know where he was the first week, but he's definitely back. And Tannehill and Julio Jones seemed to start their chemistry up last week.
Yep.
And for Indianapolis, although Wentz started to get some things going, their running back, Taylor, he hasn't really shown up to jump off the pages at you yet, or this season. So I'm going to go with Tennessee in this game.
Next game is the Atlanta Falcons at the New York Giants. Both teams are 0-2. Somebody's going to win this game.
But they really don't want to, I don't think. Hey, another great game. Both teams are really bad. I have a tough time doing this, but I think I'm gonna pick the Giants here. I just don't like anything I'm seeing from this Falcons team. They're not going to their fourth pick, Kyle Pitts, at all with the offense. They're kind of running the offense bizarrely through Matt Ryan and a lot of underneath routes that never go past the sticks. I just don't like what the coaching staff is doing in Atlanta.
It's a new coaching staff, and either they don't have their scheme in yet or they don't know what they're doing. And New York, they're moving the ball. They scored 29 on Washington football team. But they have mistakes, and they all come at the wrong time. So there'll probably be more mistakes, but I do think they've got a lot more going on than the Atlanta Falcons. So I'll also take the New York Giants.
All right. Well,
Somebody's going to win.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that. This is a really tough one because Matt Ryan is going up against the Giants secondary, which isn't much to talk about. However, the Atlanta defense hasn't really done much this year. They did sack Tom Brady a few times last week against that Buccaneers offensive line. And the Giants, they are prone to giving up sacks to their quarterback. However, Saquon Barkley got going last week, and Daniel Jones is continuing to prove that he's got some legs as well. I'm gonna have to go with the Giants on this one because of when you got a quarterback that's a threat in the running game, that's just a whole new game. I think the Giants are gonna win this.
Gotcha. Next game is the Chargers at the Chiefs.
So this is a tough one. The Chargers and the Chiefs are both going to score. I think this one comes down to whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. I think the Chargers have more weapons than the Chiefs, but I mean, as for quality of weapons, I don't think you can really bet against Hill and Kelsey. This is in Kansas City, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs in this one, but I think it'll be another barn burner. The Chiefs can't seem to not play a close game lately.
Both of the games for the Chargers last year were high-scoring affairs. And our defense,
Terrible.
my gosh, they've played well for about a quarter and a half, and that's it. The other were a disaster.
Oh, they made Lamar Jackson look like the best player to ever put pads on.
Our defensive ends were and outside linebackers are pitching down so hard because we couldn't get anything for the defensive tackles that he just walked around the edge with he could have literally just trotted into the end zone.
Yeah, seemed like he could get 10 to 12 yards up the middle whenever he wanted it.
I hope they're rethinking this Chris Jones move to defensive end because Chris Jones was totally confused on the RPOs. And so was Okafor, as far as that goes. And Mike Daniel was less confused but just couldn't get there. Yeah, so I'm hoping to see Chris Jones go back to tackle and at least shore up the defensive tackle position. Saunders is not having he's not playing as well as he did in preseason, and Nottie is not having the year that he had the last 2 years. So I think it's time to go back to what they used to do.
Yeah.
This scheme ain't working.
No,
So you're picking Kansas City?
I am.
Yeah. I'm picking Kansas City with my fingers and legs and everything crossed.
Right.
With,
I
with our defense, I'm betting that they're going to adjust on the defense.
I hope so. They have the most. They have to focus there. The other thing they need to worry about is I don't know what they're doing at running back right now, but it's not working.
Well, people are really wondering if Clyde Alera is a bust but that's one fumble. And like Mahomes said, you can't let one fumble define your career.
No.
I think Alera's lack of productivity is mostly is not being used. I mean,
They're not using him in the passing game correctly. I was excited when they picked him because I wanted to see a Brian Westbrook type come in who keyed that Philadelphia offense for those early Andy Reid teams for years.
Right.
And that's what I thought we were going to get.
He knows how to do that, and it's probably coming down the road, but we haven't seen it yet.
Kansas City's defense, oh man,
Yeah.
that was almost 250 yards given up on the ground to Baltimore. And everybody and their mother knew that Baltimore was going to have to run a lot. So I'm nervous about this game. We still have Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's kind of going to be Kansas City's going to get their points. Like, we're going to get our offensive points. So it's kind of like, can the Chargers offense do more? And right now, against that defense that we're putting out there, I don't know. But being a loyal KC fan, I'm going to have to choose the Chiefs.
Well, now, if you choose the Chargers, it's kind of a win-win situation. You're happy if the Chiefs win, and you're happy if the Chargers win. So, don't pick out a loyalty. Just pick who you think is going to win the game.
I think that the Chiefs will outscore the Chargers.
Okay. But next thing is Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
I have Pittsburgh. I think they just have a better roster. I think Cincy is just a very thin group with some really bright fireworks on the outside in Chase and T. Higgins. But they can't keep Burrow upright.
Yeah, he had 3 interceptions there, boom, 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 right in a row. And I'm thinking he'll bounce back. Pittsburgh has some injuries. Roethlisberger has a strained pectoral muscle. And he may play, but I don't know if he's practicing much this week. And then TJ Watt.
Watt will be out, I believe.
Yeah, I think he'll be out too. So this is another fingers crossed. I'm picking Cincy.
All right. So Ben Roethlisberger, I understand, is going to miss some practice time this week. But I was watching some of that Cincy game last week against the Bears, and yikes. that Bears defense looked like the most dominating defensive performance of this whole year so far. They were just destroying Joe Burrow with interceptions, sacks. They were causing fumbles. It was ridiculous. Cincy's offense is not going to fare much better against that Pittsburgh defense. There's no way. So I have to pick Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is the one where I went out on a limb. I picked Cincinnati. TJ Watt got injured too, so he might not be playing. Chicago Bears at Cleveland.
Okay, so this is a tough one. I know I've talked bad about the Bears all season, but if Fields is gonna play, which he may, and Chubb being out, that kind of and the receiver position for the Browns being so thin, I think this is a tough one. I like Cleveland just because of their defense. If they're going against Andy Dalton or a rookie quarterback, Myles Garrett and company should take care of business.
You're picking Cleveland. Yeah. Okay, I'm picking Cleveland also. Um, I don't know who's going to play quarterback yet. He wouldn't say. The best that he had a press conference about it and then sent a PR person back to clarify what he said. And I think what came out of that is if Andy Dalton can play, he'll play. But there was no clarification of that if he can't play, whether it will be Nick Foles or whether it'll be Justin Fields. Fields kind of struggled a little bit.
And he will. He's a rookie.
Right, last week. And I hope to see Fields. Roquan Smith and the defense had a really good day. But I think Cleveland's offensive line is too much. I think they'll find a way. I mean, they come at you in ways with running backs. And now they've got this number 25, Fenton, who breaks a long one last week. So now they've got, Chubb?
Chubb's out, but Hunt will play.
Chubb?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Bradley Chubb with the Broncos. I apologize. Nick Chubb's there.
Yeah, the pass rusher for the Broncos is out. So Nick Chubb's there, Hunt, and then they got Fenton. So they're going to come at him in ways with the running backs, and I think Cleveland will find a way to win.
Yeah, Chicago came around a little bit last week. However, their defense carried that game. And Cincinnati may have won if there was an opportunity for, I believe, on one play, a Cincinnati defensive player could have scooped up a fumble and scored, and that would have changed that game drastically. I'm not seeing enough out of that Bears offense right now to convince me that they can go up against Cleveland and Nick Chubb and everything they got going on offense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Browns.
Next game is Baltimore at Detroit.
I'll take Baltimore all day. Detroit plays hard. They do. They don't have the talent to hang with the Ravens. They have such a good running scheme. And I mean, you mentioned that, our defense looked bad against that offense, but that's a tough offense to prepare for. They run it differently than anybody else. I know everybody runs RPO, but not everybody has Lamar Jackson. And that defense is very good for the Ravens. They should win easily.
They should win easily. I agree. They had two offensive linemen out too, so they've had three major injuries: a running back, two offensive linemen out, and we still can't stop the running game. That's how good it is scheme-wise. Whoever they put in to run the ball is going to run the ball.
Oh, man. Detroit let me down last week. I was hoping they would beat the Packers, but that didn't pan out. So it looks like Detroit's Detroit. And so for Baltimore, they kind of had a huge play at the end of the game last week that got them that victory. But so I'm saying you don't go beating the Chiefs and then losing to the Lions the next week.
Yeah,
I'm picking the Ravens.
It looks like the Lions are the team that you thought they were the first week. And you just say, yeah, this is the Lions. Picking against the Lions. Saints and New England.
This is like a trap, I think. So with the Saints, I know they were missing a lot of coaches and they had a lot of issues last week when they looked so bad against the Panthers. They should be better than this. but I can't take away what Belichick will throw at Jameis Winston defensively. The Patriots have a very good defensive front. I think that they'll just be able to slow the Saints down enough to keep in it. And I think Mac Jones goes out and wins his second game.
Yes, both teams are 1-1. They couldn't, without the brain trust and coaches. The coaches,
That was tough.
you don't think of the coaches, on the sidelines, but they're an important part of the football team. They keep things going. They see things that players don't see on the field, and they were missed last week. So yeah, I think it's going to be New England. Mac Jones and Bill Belichick is a New England match made in heaven. So I think that's going to be an easy. Myself, I think it's going to be an easy New England win.
Okay, this game is interesting. New England's defense did a good job against Miami last week. Mac Jones, he performed well enough for them to win. But I kind of see him as being pretty conservative, and he's kind of like under control of Bill Belichick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And although New Orleans had a bad showing last week, I don't think that New Orleans is a team that you can be conservative and be in your comfort zone playing against. I think that Kamara puts up some highlights this week. I think he starts getting his 2021 highlight reel going against the Patriots. And I expect Winston to bounce back from last week. I don't think, and if he doesn't, if he kind of starts out flat, I mean, I'd expect New Orleans to put in Taysom Hill at some point in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's an easy pick, but I'm going to pick the Saints to win this one.
All right, we got Arizona at Jacksonville.
I'll take the Cardinals. Better team, just all around better team. Love what Kyler brings. The defense is going to put so much pressure on Trevor Lawrence that he'll be seeing ghosts by the end of this game.
If Kyler Murray throws for 400 yards against the Vikings, will he get 800 against Jacksonville?
Anything's on the table at this point.
Anything is possible.
Yes.
And especially from Chandler Jones. I mean, rushing Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have it together yet.
7 INTs.
So yeah, some very ill-advised throws happening over there.
Yeah.
I have to take Arizona.
Yeah.
This is an interesting game. The Washington football team at Buffalo.
I think that Buffalo is going to be too much. Washington had a nice win against the Giants, but as you mentioned, I think that the Giants made a mistake every time they had a chance to win that game. And they had so many chances to win. I love Heineke, and McLaurin is an all-world receiver. But after that, the offense is going to struggle to put points on the board against a very talented Bills defense. And I think Josh Allen kind of came out of the new season funk that we saw from him in week one and really handed it to them. So I expect the Bills to win here.
It was a very balanced attack, and I say this every week. Bills are much more physical than they were last year, and I think that's showing up. Washington's pass rush really hasn't gelled like I thought it would so far. But Heineke's been great, and McLaren has been great. I think it's going to be a close game, but I also have Buffalo.
Yeah, they're just going to have an easier time scoring.
Washington, they came up short against the Giants. Or no, they beat the Giants, but they very nearly came up short against the Giants. And that's not going to spell very well. A big reason why Washington struggled against the Giants last week was Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones with the running game. And we know that Josh Allen and Singletary both have the ability to move the ball with their legs pretty well. Now, Buffalo's offense, they got it together last week. Looked like they got some confidence going. Washington's offense, same thing. They're looking better and better. But I'm going to have to take Buffalo this week.
That's all the Sunday noon games. Now we go to the 3 o'clock games. New York Jets at Denver.
I'll take Denver. That's a good team over there. They have Bridgewater playing at a well above average quarterback ratings, and I love their skill positions. And I think their defense is about as good as anybody in the AFC. I'd line them up with anyone. And the Jets, Zach Wilson's going to have good weeks. He's going to have bad weeks like all these rookies. He just has less to work with than any of them, in my opinion. I think the Jets are really going to have trouble in this game.
Who's going to finish with more? Zach Wilson, more interceptions. He's at 7. Or Tom Brady, more touchdowns. He's at 9. I'm taking Denver all the way. The AFC division the Chiefs are in is looking good.
Yeah.
We're in last place.
We are. Teddy Bridgewater looks like he's found his home. He's got an excellent receiving core there in Denver to work with.
I bet they like him too because his ball is kind of easy to catch. He throws a ball that's easy to catch. Receivers like that. In other words, like Mahomes, Mahomes zips it in there, and Kelsey's talked about this. It's not easy to catch Mahomes' ball.
Yeah.
But Bridgewater, I've always heard it's easy to catch his passes.
Yeah. So that, and Denver, they've got a nice defense as well. And the Jets are struggling against decent defenses. I'm going to have to take the Broncos to go 3-0 this week.
Yeah, we got a tough Western division over here. We're in last place. And with Denver winning, and if the Chargers beat us, and if Vegas beats Miami.
Yeah, Vegas is about to be 3-0.
Yeah, if we don't win, we could be 2 games back.
Yeah.
We could be buried in last place. Miami at Las Vegas.
So losing Tua hurts. Not that I have shown much fondness for him in the past, but I think Vegas continues their momentum. They move it up to 3-0. That defensive line really sets the tone for the defense. Their ends are as good as anybody's. I think I said it last week. And Derek Carr to Darren Waller is it's unstoppable so far.
I got visions of the early playoff games in the AFL between Oakland and Miami, Kenny Stabler, and those guys. They're AFC by then, but I think the Las Vegas Raiders, they've got a lot of weapons and defense is playing better than I expected, and I think they will win over Miami, and it might be potentially a blowout.
Could be.
Yeah, as I just said, the Raiders are about to be 3-0. Miami's offense just never got up out of bed last week. And their defense, is going to have to face a very similar opponent. The Raiders have a strong passing attack and a strong running back, just like the Bills do. So I'm going to take Las Vegas here.
Seattle at Minnesota.
So Minnesota's kind of playing for their coach's job right now, in my opinion. He may be. It's him and Nagy, I think, for the first two coaches off the board. Minnesota needs to win this game for him to stick around. I think Seattle will beat the Vikings. They have a better team. I thought the Vikings defense would be better this year, and they just really haven't shown me much. Especially when you go up against Russell Wilson and the weapons that he has.
Yeah, I was kind of following the Seattle game, and they were rolling right along. They had a big lead on Tennessee, and then Tennessee started coming back with a hard charge at the end and won in overtime. If I agree with you that Minnesota's coach might be on a hot seat. Not been hearing about that, but I would think he's got to be. Those things sometimes depend on how much the players like the coach. If they don't like the coach, it's not a big deal to them. But if they love the man, they may come in there highly motivated. I expect that they will be motivated as it is. You picked Minnesota?
I picked Seattle.
Oh, you picked Seattle. Okay, so I also picked Seattle. Overall, I think they've got more speed than Minnesota. You'd think Minnesota would be better than they are, but it's a team to me that's like close, but they're just not there.
No.
Now this is interesting. I'm picking the Vikings to win this week, and there's a couple reasons. I think they're a better team than 0-3, and they're gonna play like it. Now, Seattle's defense, they were on the field practically the entire second half against Tennessee, and they got beat up against that Tennessee run game, and their receivers. Tennessee's got big receivers, and Derrick Henry's hard to bring down to the ground. And Seattle they got tired. Their defense started out that game pretty strong and shutting down that Tennessee offense, but once the size and the determinedness of Tennessee just kept converting third downs and kept wearing down that Seattle defense, Seattle was looking real bad towards the end of that game. And it's early in the season, and I think a game like that, it's going to take a couple weeks to recover. So I think Seattle's defense is on their back foot right now. Now, Minnesota, it's not. Last week when I was talking about their offense, I've got a little bit of an update for that because their passing attack is coming together quite nicely. Justin Jefferson is a nice compliment to Adam Thielen. And I forget who that new guy's name is, but that number 17 guy, he did pretty good last week. Cousins is making some bold throws. And combine that with the run game that they have, I think Seattle's in for a tough matchup here, and Minnesota has a decent defense as well. So I'm gonna. It's a tough pick because Seattle's gonna get some points, but I'm picking Minnesota.
Tampa Bay at the Los Angeles Chargers, or Los Angeles Rams. I'm sorry.
So this is the game of the week.
Yeah, it is.
This is going to be some popcorn, as Terrell Owens would say.
Yep.
I have a tough time picking against the Bucks, but this is in LA. I think the Rams pull it out in front of the home crowd, but I don't feel good about this pick. Brady's so good, and that defense is very good as well.
I'm also very interested in this game. I want to see how LA approaches this game. Um, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a better approach than we did in the Super Bowl. LA's offense, I think, their offensive line, I think, is probably better than ours was in the Super Bowl.
Easily.
So I'm still going with Tampa. Brady's on fire and throwing the ball well. He's got 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. They can run the ball. They can defend. Until somebody beats them, they're definitely the class of the NFL. I mean, I look at the Chiefs, and we got major problems right now with the defense. And you look at Tampa Bay, and from mid-season on last year, Tampa doesn't have any problems.
No, they don't get injured.
Early, yeah, unless they have an injury or so. But early last year, they had a lot of things to fix. They were definitely not on the same page. Chiefs beat them, and it was not as close as the score was during the regular season. But after midseason, and they all got on the same page, they've got no issues, and they're the best team in football.
Yeah.
This game, this is another very interesting game.
Yeah, I think it's the game of the week.
This could be kind of like how they said at the very first game of the season where Dallas and Tampa Bay might be the NFC Championship. Well, this could also be the NFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Rams, they have a stronger defense than anything Tampa Bay has faced yet this year. The Rams have an excellent secondary. And not to mention, of course, Aaron Donald and their pass rush. Well, Tom Brady, he got sacked 3 times last week. And I would say that the Rams probably have a better pass rush than who was it they played last week? I forgot it.
The Rams?
They have a better.
Let's see. The Rams played Indianapolis.
No. The Buccaneers. Who did they play last?
The Buccaneers. They played Atlanta.
Oh yeah. So I think the Rams have a better pass rush than Atlanta. Now Tom Brady, we all know, can punish a pass rush, but the Rams kind of have the secondary to back that up.
He's not going to be able to step up in the pocket like he likes to against Aaron Donald. So that could be a problem.
Yeah. And also the Tampa Bay defense, they gave up quite a few scores to a Falcons offense that doesn't really look too strong yet this year. And Matt Stafford and the Rams, we all know about his goings in the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Rams in this game. I think Tampa Bay suffers their first loss.
I would just say, last point, the way to beat Tom Brady is to be able to rush with 4, and with Aaron Donald and that defensive line for the Rams, they may be able to get to him. Yeah. We'll see, though. Nobody has so far.
Green Bay at San Francisco is another one hard to figure.
So do we get Green Bay from week 1 or Green Bay from week 2? That's the question. I like the Niners here. I like teams that are committed to all the players are in line. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but they still have some weapons out there. I think Garoppolo is playing the best ball of his life. And their defense is up there with anybody. I think they should give the Packers problems.
I picked San Francisco. I know that they've got the. Oh no, I take that back. Nope, take that back. I'm picking Green Bay.
Ooh,
Green Bay, yeah.
spicy.
It looks like that Rodgers was the real Rodgers last week. He was on fire. He had 2 throws that were just spectacular.
Yeah.
The kind of throws for touchdowns that he did all last year. He was like 22 for 27, something like that. It was
a video game for him.
And they can run the ball and they can play defense. And San Francisco, I'm not sure who's going to carry the ball for him. Between Sermon, Mitchell, and Hasty going out.
And Mostert. They've had 4 guys.
Season.
Yeah.
Sure. So they have a pretty smart coach. He'll make some adjustments, figure something out. But I do give the coaching edge to San Francisco in this. But still, if that's the real Green Bay Packers we saw last week.
They did play the Lions, Brian. It was the Lions.
That's true. I'm still on.
You're on it. Okay.
I'm out there on the limb.
I like it. They looked great, though. They really did. Tanyan, the tight end, he looked fantastic, too.
Yeah, this is tough. So what I'm seeing out of San Francisco is an elite defense. And their offense is leaving a lot to be desired. Now, that being said, I think they can probably look a little bit better this week than they have. Just as the season goes on, but let's be honest, their offense has been pretty close to awful, and I think that it has to only get better. Now, Green Bay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, that was the Lions last week, so I don't know. Now, San Francisco, they have a really good defense, as I mentioned earlier. Bosa's not injured, is he? He's gonna be playing, right?
As far as I know, their running back situation is real cloudy because Sermon, Mitchell, and Hastings all went off the field, and Mostart's out for the season. But Garoppolo has been playing a little better. I don't think there's any injuries. Jarrett on their starting cornerbacks was injured week 1. I don't know if he was back last week or not. But I think the defense is pretty much intact.
Well, I expect this to be a close game, regardless of nobody can figure out what's going on with the Packers.
Aaron had a good game last week. It just totally shocked me. He's looking like the MVP of last week.
Yeah, but is that just because it was the Lions?
Could be.
So my coworker, he's a 49ers fan, and I told him that I'm picking the 49ers this week, and I'm gonna keep my word on that.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I think their defense can keep them in the game. I think they have a chance.
Another hard one here, Philadelphia at Dallas.
Well, I think the more tape is out there on Jalen Hurts, the harder it is going to be for the Eagles to continue to have success on offense. I think a lot of what they did last week came kind of in garbage time, where one team was trying to hold on and the other team was trying to rush back. Dallas, I think they're a better team. I think that offense is really rolling. They got Zeke the ball, and he was moving it. I'll take the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, I'm also down with the Cowboys. They only got 11 points against San Francisco last week, and that's an interesting observation about, we've kind of seen what Philadelphia could do with Hurts and we know what they're trying to do. I like the move that Dallas moved. Did you notice they moved Micah Parsons from linebacker to defensive end? And
It's a good move. He was getting killed in coverage.
yeah, he was getting killed in coverage, and he did pretty well at defensive end. He was applying pressure to the passer and playing the position. So I really like that adjustment. I'm Dallas all the way on that.
Okay. Jalen Hurts kind of fell back down to earth a little bit last week against that San Francisco defense. Dallas's defense is going to be weaker. However, Dallas has shown that they're going to put up points this year. I believe that's 2 weeks in a row they've gotten 30-plus points.
Yeah, the big controversy in Dallas this week is Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Pollard is faster than Ezekiel. Had a good game last week. But again, I think they're going to keep starting Ezekiel Elliott. He protects the passer very well. He's way above average in blocking for his quarterback. Micah Parsons, he was a linebacker that got burned week 1, but they moved him to defensive end week 2. I don't figure they're going to keep him there because stopping the run might be a problem. But they might have him there this week because of they may want somebody around up on the line to chase around Jalen Hurts, which Parsons can do. So he might be a defensive end again. And that worked out pretty good last week. So it'll be interesting. Will the Eagles run at him if he's playing defensive end? See how that goes.
Well, maybe. Saunders is very speedy. It's Sanders, not Saunders. I don't know why I keep calling him Saunders. Okay. So Dallas, they have that passing attack too that's clicking. I just think that Dallas has a more potent offense right now. Jalen Hurts is looking like he's coming along well, but it's not quite solidified yet. So I'm going to take Dallas in this game.
Most people are probably picking Dallas. Dan and I both picked Dallas. There are 17 on the NFL power rankings where Philadelphia is 20 and Dallas is at home. So I think that might be a safe pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at this video, and I might see if I can splice you in between takes with Dan and I, if I can figure out a way to do that and see how smooth that goes. Or we'll put you at the end again like we did before. I think that works also.
Okay. Well, if it goes well, it would be cool for me to be kind of spliced in.
You want me to try that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Justin, thanks for being here with us today. We are all tied, 18 and 14, 56% for everybody. As Maya said, beginning of this segment, that Dan won last week, 11 and 5. I was 10 and 6, and you were 9 and 7. You have yet to taste a losing week.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. Last week was Recovery Sunday. This week is Infirmery Sunday. We'll see who shows up to play Sunday. So enjoy the games coming up, and thanks for being with us on these picks.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Bye.
So we only differ on the Green Bay San Francisco pick and the Pittsburgh Cincinnati pick.
Oh, and Rams Buccaneers, right?
Oh yeah, Rams Bucks. Yeah.
Okay. Oof. We'll see. A couple of toss-up games there. We'll find out.
We will. We'll find out. Thanks for joining us again, Dan. And have a good weekend and enjoy your football Sunday.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
Good night.
Go Chiefs.
Help the Chiefs.
Help the Chiefs.
I hope they've been scheming up as soon as they got on the plane.
Right. Yeah. He might not have slept after that game. That was a tough one. Oof. It'll be better this week. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.